Greetings. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Um, Today is November 18th, 2021. Um, Time is approximately 3 p.m. This will be update 3.5. So, 3.5 years since started this journey, focusing on this journey. Update for this session. A couple things. One, I just watched the previous update, so I'll try to follow from that. Still president of the UNIA ACL Division 421 here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Division. As I said in the previous video, I'm doing that stuff now, um, posting the calls and things like that. I'm just trying to build the organization, but um, getting to the actual work of organizing. Um, well, I've been doing that. I'm gonna say I've been doing that, but the interesting thing and the thing that I want to portray and put out there is that it's not just about learning, but it's about doing. So that's what this series has been about. Is me trying to track and record my progress of getting involved as I'm continuing to learn, and I think that's one of the places where we kind of we need to be better because we do a lot of education, but we don't apply the education. So, with that being said, one of the things that I've been focused on as of recently is the course of African philosophy, Message to the People, course of African philosophy. This is a course, not necessarily a book. It's written in the form of a book, but it's a course taught by Marcus Garvey that he started to teach in 1937, 3 years before his death. But in this book and in this course, one of the things that I pulled out that I love is that he says the value of intelligence or education or the value of knowledge is to use it. Going back to what I was saying, a lot of us we get stuck in the library and all we do is learn, and we know everything there is in the world to know. But when it comes to application, we're not really applying that knowledge. So, um, with me following up Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X, um, being serious about the calling that I felt that book imparts upon black men, especially, but being serious about that and following through with it. Um, this is where I am today, and that's what this series is about. It's tracking that progress. But the big overall picture, as far as that progress, going through the course of African philosophy, we just completed lesson 7. I'm instructing the course right now. I'm actually going through it myself, and right now I am in 20, lesson 20, titled "Living for Something." I need to finish that, then I'll get into lesson 21. But this week we did lesson 7, which was titled "Character." We're doing this every week, so every Tuesday. Next week we'll do lesson 8, "The Social System." Um, but this is kind of where my focus is in regards to organizing and organizing our people. One of the things that I want my stamp or motto or impact to be in regards to organizing is an understanding of if anybody asks like what my focus was or what my focus is right now, organization is a representation, or it's supposed to represent um, a body, a brain, a heart, lungs, and all of those things like organs. And the functions of organs are what make organizations work well. When organizations can replicate what organs do in a body, that's when an organization becomes very successful. But for me and my focus it'll be right now. It's the mind. If I was going to focus on two organs, it'll be the mind and the body. No, not the mind and body. Mind and the stomach. Um, the mind, obviously, Garvey teaches. What is this? It's right behind me. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately, you'll liberate the bodies of men. So, the mind is critical. If we can get that together, everything else will fall in place. It's kind of like what Garvey said in the past: be black, buy black, think black, and all else will take care of itself. But it's not as easy as the saying. And then the other organ would be the stomach. Going through the lessons, one of the things that Garvey talks about is people being nourished and us as leaders being nourished. But if a person is not nourished, if they're starving or they're hungry, they don't want to hear what you have to say. And if you're starving and hungry, you're not going to be clear in your articulation of what it is that you're trying to say. So, and also a common phrase is if you want to lead the people, you have to be able to feed the people. So those are the two things that we're focusing on in the near future is charity, making sure our people have food and clothing and can survive to the next day, have some form of sustenance, and then education. Once we do get to a level of survival and we move on to the next day, how can we develop ourselves to be self-sufficient, to prepare for the future ourselves, where someone doesn't have to do it for us. But the stomach and the brain, those are the two organs that we're focusing heavily on as far as organization and development. Last couple things on organization, continuing to work with black organizations here in the city. We've got a meeting this coming Saturday. Well, let me go back. We got a meeting this coming Friday with Pan-African organizations planning for Kwanzaa 2021, and basically just trying to regroup with other Pan-African groups, networking. And then Saturday we have a meeting with the black religious groups, Nation of Islam, Moorish Science Temple, New Era Atlanta, United Nawapians, and hopefully our Hebrew brothers and some other black organizational members can have representation. But we're doing that Friday and Saturday. That's here in Atlanta. But again, we want to continue our effort to show what we think the solution is. We're not trying to push things on a national scale, but just address things in our own backyard, and try to set the example. So that's all I got on that. Last thing that I wanted to share is unfortunate news of the passing of rapper Young Dolph. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because for me, this kind of hits, like I really didn't know what to say or how to feel about it. I didn't really say anything about it. I think he passed yesterday, but the more I think about it, it just feels like Nipsey Hussle all over again. Nipsey Hussle 2.0 is what keeps coming to my mind. And the reason is, for me, it hits a little bit different. I'm 36 now. Dolph was 36. I was 33, when Nipsey was killed at the age of 33. And let me see. Yeah, so Nipsey was killed about 3 years ago when we were coming back from High Executive Council in Chicago. And at that time, I kind of just thought like, man, this is crazy. We killing our own people that are coming back to, our neighborhoods, doing the things. We're killing the people that are doing the things that we've told ourselves to do is, go out, be successful, and then come back home and bring that success home. And now with Young Dolph being killed in his hometown of Memphis, while purchasing cookies from what I think is a black-owned business, but he was shot down. It's just, what are we doing and what are we learning, and how are we progressing? But we just went through this exact same thing, in my opinion, 3 years ago. And I thought we said, these things, we can't do these things, and we have to honor and protect the individuals that are trying to give back to the community. So it's a little bit disheartening. Just makes me wonder again when I look around. You got to ask people, especially adults. What's their mindset? What is their solution, and what are they actually doing? Because like I said, since Nipsey died 3 years ago, you guys know what I've been doing. I've been documenting what I've been doing and how I've been involved in the community and what I think the solutions are and how I think I can affect or help with that solution. So, you know, first we got to look at, as Michael Jackson said, some of y'all may be too young to remember that, but as Michael Jackson said, you got to start with the man in the mirror. Before we try to criticize anyone else, we first have to hold ourselves accountable and ask ourselves, what are we doing that's different, from others that are just criticizing, and then beyond that, that's when you start to look at your circle of friends and family and those individuals and look at how they felt about these type of situations when they happened 3 years ago in Los Angeles, and what has changed, from that time and from this time to today or yesterday when the same thing happened again. In those 3 years, what have we done? What have we worked for? What have we tried to bring into a reality? You know, and that's a very important question, because I think it's probably the most important question, because a life is just a compilation of minutes, hours, days, weeks, and years. So if you can take a step back, and that's why I do these things every 6 months. But if you can take a step back, a month, a week, and reflect, what you did, what your goals were, what you accomplished, and what's still left to be accomplished, and you continue to work towards that over amount of time, you will see a difference. You'll see some type of progress. Even if it's not in the world, you'll see it in yourself. And I think you guys can see that um, from these videos themselves. But we just got to do better. I'm getting a little bit frustrated. I'll be honest, because of my approach and how I came into this, with the mindset that I'm coming in to learn, and I'm a young man, and there are other people that are experts. They know all the stuff. They have all the resources, all the knowledge. So, I'm just trying to learn. But the more I learn and the more I get involved, I realize that you got three different types of people in this thing. You got one, I think it's three, but you got multiple type of people. One is the ignorant, um, who doesn't know any better. And I think they call him the Negro. He knows no better, so he can't do any better. So those are the ones you don't really blame. Um, and then you have those that do know. Yeah, you got those that do know. And out of those that do know, um, it's a subsection. So it is three. So you have those that don't know, completely innocent. You don't know. You're a kid. You're immature mentally. You're not really fully developed. You haven't really thought of, started to think about politics, nation building, family, but long term generational wealth type things. You're not thinking there. So everything is kind of immediate. How do you feel? You're emotional. You respond emotionally. And then you have those that know, um, those that know. And there's two types of people that know. One is the one I'm trying to be. Those that know and try to use their knowledge to benefit the situation. Well, not benefit, but improve the situation and change the situation so that these things aren't happening. And you have an idea of a better reality, and you try to work towards creating that better reality. That's your two. And then the third type, which I'm starting to realize we have more of than I thought. Because I used to only think there was two types. I used to only think like people were either ignorant or afraid. Like either you didn't know what to do or you knew what to do and you were afraid to do it. But now I'm realizing there's a third class. And the third class is those that know, but embrace um, the situation. So it's almost like the crabs in the barrel mentality. You know that there's crabs in the barrel, and you don't try to change it. You just try to benefit from it. So and I see a lot of black people, especially, or those that are in demographics of individuals that could be considered on the bottom or not first class citizens. But the thing is, some of these individuals within these classes, they can attain a certain level of success or education or whatever, and then they're no longer at the bottom, and that's all that it really matters to some people. Is like, as long as there's someone below me, I'm okay. So if you're a middle class, in a torn up society, racism, police brutality, injustice, but you're in the middle, you're not at the bottom. For some people, that's okay, and they're content and complacent with maintaining what they call the status quo. And those are what I'm realizing are some of my biggest adversaries. We go out because at the end of the day, it's those that know, whether you know and you're trying to help, or and you're trying to take advantage of the situation. It's these two individuals that are trying to acquire, I guess that's the best word, the minds of the ignorant. And they're either you're either trying to acquire the minds of the ignorant to perpetuate the system, the current system, and have them accept their role in the system, or you're trying to reach their minds to change the system and hopefully benefit the system. But I think that's a good update for today. I didn't expect to have this much, but this is good. Yeah, big thing for me. Um, Keep working, keep studying. Still got a lot to learn. And at the same time, while we learn, we can teach. You don't have to wait until you've read everything to start teaching. It's actually good to teach while you're learning, and be honest, in that process that, hey, I'm still learning this stuff, even though I'm in the role of instructor. It's just because no one else wants to take that role, and I feel like we need to be having these discussions. So if nobody's going to step up and have those discussions, then I'll step up and have those discussions. But that doesn't mean that I'm the smartest one. That just means that I'm willing to facilitate the discussion. But yeah, all right, that's all I got. Thank y'all for supporting. Thank y'all for watching. In closing, I hope, I see a lot of people asking for likes and shares, and I mean, share it if you like it and if you think it'll help someone. But I'm not gonna ask. I don't like asking for likes and asking for subscribes. I feel like it messes up the natural algorithm of what people really like and what they really want to subscribe to. So where people are just liking stuff and subscribing stuff just because they like somebody's personality and they ask them to do it. I want you to like and subscribe if you really like the information and you'd like to subscribe to this type of information. But other than that, nah, don't hit those buttons. So I think that's all I got. I'll get back to reading and studying more when I get more time. But as of right now, this course, which is a private course only for leadership in the UNIA, it's not for the common citizen, and it's not for normal members either. It's only for leadership. So when I finish this, which should be sometime in February, I'll have time to complete Booker T. Washington, which I've still been reading on the side and working on it. But a lot going on. With that, just find your place, find your purpose, whatever that may be, and be proud of it. So, peace out, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman rahim. And I'll catch y'all on the next video. Inshallah. Race first.